All right, welcome back to another episode of the Two Track Mind podcast. It is a special edition. We'll call it our beginning of the season episode because now we're in mid-April and we're up in Canada.
Preseason.
Yeah, it's preseason. Preseason, that's right. No first event just yet. But it's a special one. We're recording on location at
Live
our
on
club.
location.
And I am joined by co-host Patrick Alex, Jason Lee, one of our previous guests that apparently you guys really enjoy having on the show. So we brought him back.
Absolutely.
And the
Look at this
guest,
face. So cute.
can't deny it.
Can't deny.
And our guest of honor today is none other than Vinh Pham. Welcome to the show,
Oh,
Vinh.
thank you. Yeah,
Glad
I'm
you're
honored. You guys had the coolest thing going, and I was like, I gotta
know,
get.
and then
on-
we
I
took
got-
a break,
I
right?
got. I
And
gotta
we're
get
getting
on
back
that
on
show.
it.
Like, gotta get on that show. How do I get on that show?
So you listened to it and you still decided to show up.
Oh yeah, 100%. I was like, damn, like that cute face, and like, I know I gotta get on it. So,
Yeah.
no, thanks for having me.
No, it's great to have you here. And, I think I'm really glad you're on the show because I would say you're one of those guys who's behind the scenes in the GTA tracking community. And I don't think people understand how much of an influence you've kind of had on the scene developing. And we'll get into that a little bit later, right? Because I think Vinh has been instrumental in kind of helping to bring up some of the pretty YouTube famous stars that we have
Oh, whoa,
in the
that's,
space, right? So he's kind of like the godfather behind the scenes.
Whoa, that's-
We've actually kind of known each other for, I would say, like 10 years now.
Yeah, 10 years.
Something like
yeah.
that, right? And so we'll get into the history a little bit. Before we jump into the bombardment of questions I'm sure, this panel is going to have for you, I do want to give you the opportunity to kind of talk about your past a little bit. So who are you and how do you spend your time and energy?
So my name is Vinh Pham. I love motorsports. I love cars. Work for a car company, major OEM, and I guess we could say it on. We can say
Whatever you're comfortable with.
I work for Toyota Canada, but my personal time, I love motorsports. Like ever since I was a little kid, in go-karts. Moved up into university, did Formula SAE.
Of course.
So I'm as an engineer, and recently we were down at U of T celebrating their 25th year.
It's amazing.
So yeah, this motorsports scene has really grown. Like U of T graduated tons of students that have gone off to Formula One, Le Mans,
Really?
etc. So it was nice to see old colleagues, and I guess working for a major OEM, I had a couple opportunities to do motorsports type things, Targa Newfoundland,
Yeah.
a couple of FIA e-rallies in Monte Carlo. So yeah, it's motorsports has kind of been in my blood, and I love cars and the car scene because there's that car scene element to it that kind of grows into motorsports, right? And
Yeah.
and then so now we for the last 3 years or so we formed an 8-hour endurance racing team, and it's kind of like where we rekindled and met again, and all the track guys are now graduating up into not just like sprints, but like 8-hour team, like that's intense racing for
intense.
8 hours. So yeah, that's kind of where my I spend 80-90% of my headspace thinking about cars
Think
all
about
the
cars.
time, right?
That's actually like one of the influences of why it's called Two Track Mind.
Oh.
It's because for us it's like cars and not cars, cars not cars. There's more to the name than that, but I think that's like one of the more funny interpretations of why it's called Two Track Mind. One of the questions I really like to ask our guests is, obviously you have quite a lengthy motorsports history, but when you think about like your childhood, right? Like what is like your first car memory? However mundane it might be, I'm just really curious what that might be.
So my mom told me, let's rewind to immigrant mom, fresh off the boat from Vietnam, living in some janky apartment, and she says that I would look out the window
Yeah.
and call out car, like look, cars, like cars. So that's probably like what my parents reminded me
Yeah.
of my first memory of cars was. But I think it's playing with
Yeah.
1/64 scale, like Majorette or Hot Wheels.
Let's get the terminology.
Yeah,
I was
right?
just
it's
like, Hot Wheels is like, no, at 164, very
yeah,
specific.
yeah, you got to see my office. It's full of like cars and
Yeah.
like I'd say playing with those on carpets, but then moving, like everyone had Mustangs and Ferraris and I wanted a Honda Accord. Like I
Yeah.
wanted an Accord toy car, right?
Yeah.
And so that's probably
It's the golden age.
it's the golden age
Golden
of
age.
like of
Yeah.
cars, right? So yeah, I loved cars ever since I was and I made sure my kids also I made sure they play with the race car that I have, right?
Yeah.
So like they were surrounded in the orange Team Lexus IS300 race car. So I owned that for a good decade and like made sure they were playing with that car.
Just so they can say dad is cool.
It's
It's
like,
like,
oh,
look,
look at
the
I'm
toys
holding,
confirm it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. And so, you talked about having done Formula SAE in university. Between childhood and then, was it just like other kids growing up playing with cars, or did you actually get involved in anything in racing or karting or anything like that?
I was not lucky to have a dad that was able to wrench and teach me anything.
Not to say that he wasn't, great in all other means.
Yeah, exactly, for sure. Like
it's not the only thing that you need dads for. It's the wrench on cars.
Fair, right? Like, childhood trauma for my kids is I just put cars in their face all day long, right?
Yeah.
But I didn't have that luck. However, he was I guess mechanically inclined.
Sure.
A lot of friends in the car community remember that about their parents. But I definitely wasn't. So I mean, I'd ride my bike and my bike would have a powered by Honda sticker on it. Like that, like my CCM, it's a Canadian Tire mountain bike.
It's gotta be the Canadian Tire CCM bike.
CCM bike was
the only brand that existed back then.
It wasn't CCM, it was powered by Honda. So I don't work for Honda. We were clear about that at the top of the podcast, right? Yeah. So, but yeah, it's all throughout. I always loved cars, and then obviously when you could see, I think the switch to motorsports, right, was, I remember it very vividly. It was like 1986, Toronto, Molson Indy called at the time. Bobby Rahal was driving.
Were they still like the same layout as it is now?
It's pretty much generally the same. Like it's generally the same layout. There's a couple turns that are a little slightly different.
Yeah.
But Honda was the first, or like at the time was breaking into Indy cars, and the commentator was talking about how this is the new powertrain, a new V8 or whatever. And I remember that moment in time flipping.
Yeah.
And saying, wow, I really love motorsports. And then I was huge Senna fan.
Yeah.
Huge Schumacher fan, huge Villeneuve fan. It was like that golden era, V10 era.
Yeah.
Right, so.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. Oh, boy. Yeah, because I mean, I didn't really grow up watching any racing. I don't know if you guys grew up watching racing.
I watched, I also went to the Honda Indy. I have recollections of really liking Jeff Gordon. As a child?
That's what I remember. Growing up with NASCAR. I grew up in the States for a little bit, So NASCAR was huge in the 90s.
Jeff Gordon, wow.
Number 24, man. Jeff
I
Gordon.
had a little DuPont car.
I'm like, what is DuPont? Why is this the coolest brand ever?
Like, what? Why is it on a car? Like, yeah.
And you look at him and just like, I don't understand what this guy is. Jay, you grew up watching any racing?
Man, Ken Block, man.
Ken
I
Block.
love him so much. Just like the way he slides cars and I love Subarus for the longest time. I had a 2011 Double X, I had a 06 Impreza before that, and that's all because of Ken Block, the way he's sliding around.
Did he race for Subaru for a bit?
I don't.
I always thought he was like a Ford guy, right?
I think he was like Ford backed.
Yeah.
But I feel like he built some pretty crazy Subarus.
I can't remember which Gymkhana it was. I think it was.
That's right. It was the Hawkeye, wasn't it? There was a Hawkeye.
It was the Hawkeye. Yeah. It was like 3 or 4, like one of the earlier Gymkhanas.
Yeah. And at that point, I bought an 06 Impreza because of that video. It was so cool.
Did that work out for you?
Yeah. So unreliable. All the
Are we all
Subarus
using
I've ever
Subaru
had.
motors right now in
Yeah,
racing?
man.
Like,
I just ditched mine.
Okay.
I
He's
have
got
yours
mine
now.
now.
It's your
empty.
problem now. It's your
No,
problem
no,
now.
we're still going.
With the
still
supercharger,
going.
right?
We're
With
still
the
going.
supercharger?
Not yet.
Fine,
That's
yeah.
in progress.
Oh, it's in progress.
Supercharger.
Our car's
Look
on
at this
jack
guy.
stands right now.
And what's my advice? Don't do the supercharger.
It's fine.
Whatever,
It was
shot.
very reliable for me. Knock on wood. Knock on wood. Whatever wood is.
Axles, man. Visit
Yeah.
Jason's
Oh,
axle
yeah,
shop.
Axles. I got a collection. I have a collection, a roadside collection of axles that I'll just lug to the track anyway. Yeah, you just leave one in the trunk at all times. I'll show you how to do it without changing the alignment.
Nice.
It's perfect. It's
Nice.
an easy one. No, that's really cool. So transitioning back, U of T, formerly SAE.
Yeah.
Any like vivid memories from that era?
Dude, that best time of my life.
Yeah.
I think this thing was 2 weeks ago where I went back to U of T to just quickly talk to the students. I think they did an unveiling. So crazy.
Every year, right?
In 20 years, we'll call it, the team used to be eight or so people. We did everything, right?
Yeah.
And you go now and the team is 130 people strong, 50%
Jeez.
female, 50%
That's
female.
great.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
They have a business director and section that does community events. Like, they've grown so much. And then you look at the competition, it's now fully electric,
Yep.
and there is an autonomous section, like where they don't
Interesting.
they drive.
Did you
car
use the
drives
same
on-
chassis for both?
Same
competitions?
chassis for both
So
competitions.
it's got to have both. So it's got to like have the onboard extra weight
Yes.
of the autonomous driving
Yes.
as well, right?
Yes. So the change has been like massive, but and even I think the students who are coming through the program are just at a much higher caliber. I ran into this kid, coincidentally he was Vietnamese as well,
Yeah.
and he was telling me how he has crewed for Andrew Wojciechko Autosport, AWA, their team in IMSA,
Yeah.
in GTD Pro, I think it is.
Wow.
So he's crewed for them, and then he's crewed for the Atrell Hyundais in Fell.
Mm-hmm.
So and he's like, I got to do more. And I looked at this kid, like, dude, your resume is crazy strong. What year are you? Second year university, and they're ready.
Wow.
They feel the pressure to compete so much to get to some level of motorsports engineering, and I remember that desire and pressure to want to get to Formula One or get to some level, right? And I can't believe the pressure cooker they're under these days now.
It's different, yeah.
It's different. It's different from when we went to
Yeah.
university. It
It's
feels
like
way more complex.
Hand in hand, like accessibility goes up, but then like the expectations,
Holy
right,
cow, like,
go
I
up
just-
as well, right? And just
I
to
would
kinda-
not want to be a student on that team. Like, you get lost in 130 kids, right? Whereas before it's like 8 guys, whoever did the most welding or the most, work, you earned your spot on the team. And now, how do you earn your spot on the team? I don't even know. Like,
Yeah.
it's
Imagine like if there's a lot of people like to do like sponsorships and marketing and stuff
Yeah.
like that, right? To grow the budget and then
yeah. But here you're asking a 21-year-old essentially, or 22-year-old, the captain of the team, to run an organization of 130 people. We can't get
Yeah.
adults to do that.
Yeah,
properly.
meanwhile, we're just trying to put together, track junk that runs for 8 hours
Yeah,
with 5 people.
yeah,
We're just
yeah.
like, I don't know. Do we have enough money? Can we buy the tires?
I mean, motorsports is always going to be like that,
Yeah,
for
yeah.
real. Like, as much as the experience these kids are having, they're still going to come, help out for our racing, Numi Racing, and
Yeah.
to like help out just to get more experience. So
Right.
there's only so much experience I feel like you can jam into your
university
time, your
experience.
university time,
Yeah.
right? So
I think we're talking about your impact on just the car community, but also you've had a pretty big impact on the Formula community. What was that series that you started that still goes on today?
yeah, so so when we were, the biggest problem in Formula racing is we had 8 people, we needed more.
Yeah.
So we needed a recruitment drive. And to do that, we came up with something called the Shootout. And so that was birthed by us, the Formula SAE U of T Shootout. And it was meant to take last year's car. In September, you got Frosch, first year's on ground, and you can and do a dynamic competition. It's like a time attack. But they got to experience it firsthand, and their eyes go, wow, I want to stay on the program. It has now evolved into basically letting first years learn firsthand. It's not about recruiting them because they're already interested. So yeah, like and that eventually turned into having a Formula SAE competition sanctioned by SAE in Canada, which was called Formula North. Yeah, I don't think it's running anymore sanctioned, but it got a couple of years to run. So I was chairing the Ontario SAE section for a while, for SAE, for Society of Automotive Engineers. So helped to try to cultivate a competition in Canada, right? Because there's some bright kids up here, like really, really bright kids. And we're not even tapping, like we're in Anglo-speaking Canada, the Franco-speaking Canada, like they are even more passionate about motorsports.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that comes through, like, when you go take a look at the grid at Lucky Dog, there's a lot of teams from Quebec.
Yeah.
And they've got, on average, much more experience than most of the Ontario teams. They've been doing it for a while.
Yeah.
Sure.
They know how to do it.
So after the university experience, did you, like, you knew you wanted to be in automotive, just go to that, like, Toyota, first call, get the job. It's
So
like, all right, I'm a career man now.
I've been talking Honda a lot because we were sponsored by Honda as a Formula team.
Yeah.
And obviously the first place I went to was Honda.
Yeah.
And I said, hey, HCI, like, here's my resume. I want to work for them. And everything's timing in life, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, it could have happened that they had a role open at the time, but I hit up my high school co-op, which was at Toyota Canada. They happened to have a gentleman, the guy who was overseeing my high school co-op was retiring, and so like the bump up of positions, and I took a junior entry position. Interestingly enough, just this past month end, so March month end, the gentleman who hired me, Roger Ebanks, he has now retired, and that's caused more
shuffle.
movement, right? So so all the motorsport, I wasn't tired of it, but it was like, okay, if I'm not going to Formula One and I'm going to settle down with, I guess my girlfriend at the time, but who's my wife now, but it's like, let's domesticate this, right? Like let's buy a house, get some cars, like let's live normal lives for a little while. But the itch always came back.
Yeah.
The itch was, within 2 years, I was crewing with Wojteczko in Speed World Challenge.
Yeah.
So the itch will always come back, and that led to me buying the X Team Lexus. So Team Lexus was like this team that ran in Grand Am Rolex. The car was being sold. I managed to pick it up, bring it to Canada. I did a couple of CSCS seasons with it.
Yeah,
but
that was a cool car.
It was a cool car.
That,
It's because it's a factory built car, right?
Yeah.
Factory built car, Motec dash, 3-way motons. Like, it's like a proper car. Like, you can buy a 118 Auto Art scale version of that car. That's pretty. That's how cool it is, and
to impress your kids.
oh yeah, totally. Like,
it's like, hey, look, that in the garage is this.
Yeah, it's baby. So when I look at baby pictures of them now, it's them in the race car only, right?
Yeah.
So, but eventually, after I guess 13 years of having that car, and doing sprints mainly, or like solo by yourself, like you're just by yourself. You're loading up the car by yourself. You're going to the track by yourself. You're doing the laps by yourself. When the diff breaks and spills everywhere, you're cleaning it up by yourself. So
we talked about that a lot.
It's
on the
hard,
podcast.
right? Like, it's
one of the worst parts.
Track days, like, it's but almost like it's a rite of passage. You got to go and break your own stuff first before you realize, like, oh my gosh, I gotta do this with friends. Like, I gotta do this with friends, and that's actually how selling off that car and shifting on to endurance racing, which is a team thing. Like, we all work together to get that car out on track, and then we all work and drive that car and get the joy out of it. So the transition has excited me more. Like, it's driven me even more.
Yeah, it makes sense. So before we jump into endurance racing, because I think that's probably going to be the bulk of this conversation, right? I want to turn the time back to 2012, okay, to an event that kind of connects all of our destinies here, right? Which is the launch of the Scion FRS, right?
Yeah.
What can you tell me about those days?
It was awesome. So working as an OEM, we got to meet Chief Engineer Tada-san. So Tada-san, how's it going? He's now since retired.
Yeah, because he's gonna watch this podcast.
Yeah,
For
but I'm gonna send it to him. I'll send it to him.
Yeah.
I'll send it to him. But Tada's so basically, the company wanted to build a sports car. We got back into the sports car game, collaborated with Subaru, and then we launched another Scion brand. And at the time, I can't remember what role I was in, but everything that our office does when it comes to sports cars, or I somehow try to stick my fingers into it, and we launched the FRS. We did all kinds of grassroots type things. So car meets, pop-up meets. I can't remember. Did we launch that car at a track? I can't. Maybe I wasn't part of the launch, but we definitely we launched it at the auto show. Pat Sear was eventually sponsored as a drifter with the car. So, and then I picked up one.
Yep.
And then in the modding scene, I guess, I was in touch with Dave Pratt at the time with Speed Academy, and so he had done a few simple mods, we'll call it, simple mods. Right? And tire was the main thing, maybe 8008R was probably...
I remember the video.
Yeah.
I remember that video. Orange wheels,
Yeah, orange wheels.
Man Motorsports coilovers.
Yeah, Man Motorsports coilovers.
I remember all of it.
One-way Man Motorsports coilovers.
Yeah.
8008Rs on 50 Rays.
57 Extremes,
right?
man.
Hot wheel at the time. And he just put out a banger lap.
Yeah.
Dave's a great driver.
That 121 stayed as the record lap for years.
For a while.
Yeah, for a while, man.
For a while, that overexposed GoPro footage, couldn't see exactly where it was going. But, hey, it was the early 2010s. That's what it was.
Yeah, I remember us just let's try it. And I mean, truthfully, at the time, it was the return to sports car purity. At entry, I think we launched that car. It was $27,000. You can't buy anything for $27,000 in 2024, right? You can't. So it was really accessible as a sports car to so many people, so many genres of car lovers out there, right?
Yeah.
And pretty epic. I think I own 3 FRSs.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like you had a few different.
Yeah, I think
versions.
I got a white one,
silver one, right?
A silver one was my last. So I went a white to black to silver was my last one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think one of my most vivid memories, when early days when we first got to know each other, I think it was at DDT, probably an SPDA event.
Yep, it was.
This is back in the day when we were all putting around out there, right? And DDT was still relatively new. It
was.
And we were just 145, man. That's to steal it. That's to steal it. You cannot go faster in this car than a 145. And then fast forward 10 years, NA record for a first gen 36s, literally 10 seconds further down the road.
Yeah.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah.
But of course, DDT was still fairly new then, right? People are still trying to figure out where the shortcuts and cheat codes were.
Tire
tech has changed a lot. What's 200
changed.
tread wear? I don't know. Who knows what 200 tread wear is? It's whatever the stamp on the side says. But it's still such a desirable car. You look at the used prices now, a good, copy of a first gen, it's still 15 grand.
For a good one, I'm looking for my son. My son, he's 14 now, but by the time he's ready to drive, we're looking, and you can't find a clean one below 15. That's you can get lower, but they're janky. You don't want to touch those.
It's 10 years old now, right?
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It's
over
10
that.
years old,
Yeah. So we all drive first gen. Jason at the end there has got the second gen.
Yes.
He's the Gen 2 snob over there.
Gen 2
Have you driven the two back to back before?
I have driven them back to back, actually. I've driven Giuliano's. Driven my friend Josh Chan's. Both modified coilovers, 200 tread wear, good brakes. Yeah, they're both great cars. I think the Gen 1 has better steering for whatever reason. I think it has something to do with the knuckles or something. I think they're fixing it in the TS actually. Supposedly it has different knuckles that
Yeah,
give it
your
a little bit
knuckles,
steering
because
more.
you're in a BRZ, right?
Yeah, I'm in a
So the
BRZ.
BRZ knuckles are lighter.
They're
The aluminum
lighter.
ones,
They're
right?
lighter, but they'll have more deflection, right? The 86, not GR86 knuckles are a little heavier, but they're less. They're a little bit less deflection, so different feel, I think.
Gotcha. I feel like the Gen 1, like you can't make mistakes. If you go into slow, like you can't make it up, right? In the Gen
It's
2
harder
though,
to make it up. Yeah.
I feel like you can make it up.
You got a
Like,
little
it's not
torque.
as much of a momentum car as the Gen 1 is. Yeah. There's a torque dip in the Gen 1. Like the Gen 2, it has enough power for sure.
The Gen 2 just feels complete.
Exactly.
Like it's a complete
Yeah.
vehicle, right?
Yeah. I agree. I really enjoy it. Yeah.
It's just expensive now. Everything's expensive.
Everything is expensive.
Everything's
And now you're
expensive.
like, okay, it's expensive now too. So,
Yeah.
but still,
But in that category, in that price point,
yeah,
like,
that
you
price
really
point
can't really.
basically there's nothing under 30K now, like in just any category. So if you're still able to play in a sports car in the category just above 30K, that's pretty awesome still.
I think so. Yeah. So I mean, you talked about getting connected with Dave from Speed Academy, right? Dave and Pete, I feel like, have been like pretty influential in our local scene and beyond, way beyond, right?
Way
I think
beyond.
they like really inspired a lot of people to get out there, right? Because I think it was like early days of like car YouTubers, but even now, like they're so unique compared to other channels where it's like, it's real talk, it's shop talk, it's a little bit more technical. They call it as it is kind of thing, right? And I think like that, more of like an expose of like what it's like to participate has been, at least for me, it's like been very influential and kind of like more real, right? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? A little bit more real than what's put together sometimes in social media these days. So how did you guys get to know each other? Was it just through like the Toyota relationship?
No, they spin wrenches for real. Like they are the legit shop. They don't have anybody in the background spinning wrenches for them.
Yeah.
They are as authentic as it can possibly be. How do I know Dave and Pete? So Pete ran Modified Magazine, and he had a couple features on Wojteczko cars.
Okay.
So I probably ran into him at that shop a few times, and Dave was doing a lot of local sprint racing, and got to know him a little
Hondas.
bit in the Hondas, right? Got to know him there, and just, I don't know, I guess we just stayed in touch. We're very like-minded individuals. Like both of them have families now, and I have a family, and their secret, I don't know if it's secret, they're Toyota fanboys. Like their dailies are all Toyotas, and like and then we stayed in touch, and we did some pretty epic adventures. So we did Target Newfoundland.
That's so cool. Yeah.
Together with the Scion program. So I was kind of managing all the logistics to get us there and like planning out the routes, and it was a huge adventure for them. There's a whole YouTube like
I've watched it.
13-minute expose on it, and they were rookies as tarmac rally drivers, and we brought in Alan Ockwell, who he's like a 4-time Canadian Rally champion navigator, to coach them, like train them up, get them to. I did rallies with Alan in Monte Carlo, so I brought him in to say, like, can you train the Speed Academy boys? And they are phenomenal drivers. So we didn't finish first, but we finished, I think it was like 3rd overall. So we podiumed. We took Manufacturers Championship for Scion in an FRS.
That's cool.
So it's memories. Driving Targa is bucket list. I still want to drive it on my own. I was thinking this year, but I don't think it's gonna happen. So we got
There's
lucky
still time.
dog. We got
There's still
lucky
time.
dog to do, right?
Yeah, we'll
So,
figure something out. Maybe we can do like a joint team kind of experience, right?
exactly.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, bring a rally car back or something. So
Yeah.
that's like Speed Academy is kind of just, we love speed, right? So like
Yeah.
that's they've been great friends.
Yeah. And you guys did like a Pimp My Ride episode as well. You remember that?
That's right. That was pretty hilarious. I can't remember if that was during COVID or not.
I think it was a
feel
little
like
earlier
it
than
was.
that, no?
I feel like it was because I had my beige Camry, and I remember pulling up to the shop, and I'm pretty sure I bought that in COVID.
You're doing it in a 2020 Supra, the Pimp My Ride episode. It was definitely in COVID.
It was during COVID. 100%. Yeah. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
Facts, man. Facts. Get the
Good.
facts straight.
You got good memory, young memory.
Yeah.
Yeah, you remember. And yeah, they got everything on. They put the full T37s, lip kit, and it was the exhaust, my car is generally as they pimped it.
Yeah. Okay.
Today, I think I added a Voltex wing and
Yeah.
Recaros. That's
Yeah.
all. I added a Voltex wing and Recaros. At the time, those two things, the Voltex wing and the Recaros, weren't available,
Right.
and so that wasn't part of the pimp.
The pimping.
Pimping. I don't know. Do young people get Pimp My Ride? Do they know?
In our generation, for
Right?
sure. Yeah.
Pimp My Ride exhibit?
Like
Yeah,
millennials?
of course.
Yeah.
Millennials
Yeah,
do. Right?
Yeah.
You just got pimped, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And there is some sweet rides in that, I remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, they pimped the Supra. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
That was like one of the earlier Supra. The Supra scene is gone.
Crazy.
Like I can't even keep up with the Supra scene. It's like I just want OEM plus.
Yeah, it's a very popular tuner car.
Yeah. Yeah.
For sure.
Well, you did a bunch of things in the time with Speed Academy. You also did, like in addition to Targa, you also did Ontario 1500.
Oh yeah, we did 1500. 1500 is where we met Hung.
Because
Hung's over there right now. He's showing off his Camaro, but
Oh, you got a Camaro?
yeah, he's right there. Just, right.
My fellow Jim.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Company car or his car?
I think it's
I
company
don't know.
car.
Yeah.
Okay.
I see half Asian, and we'll have to talk to him
We'll have to
about
talk
it
to him
later.
about
You just did like a review on two SSs.
Yeah.
One LE?
Yeah, check it out. Driver's Paddock. Automatic and manual SS1 LEs. SS1 LE.
The rumbling coming in was high. Anyway, so yeah, I did 1500 with Speed Academy boys. Hung had a GM entry.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Camaro V8.
The Camaro V8, and I remember he's like, "Yo, that boy's Vietnamese. I'm pretty sure he's Vietnamese." Because Ontario 1500 didn't have a lot of competitors in it, but
Yeah. It was a big commitment.
yeah, it was
Going from like place to place.
Calibogie,
Crazy,
like
man.
Calibogie all the way to Grand Bend, and a TMP Mosport. It was
7 days. something
logistics
like crazy.
nightmare, but yeah, we did well. I think Speed Academy won that event,
Yeah.
Ontario 1500. But that's where I pocket memoried Hung, who then comes up later in the journey with Numi.
Yeah. Let's get to this part of the story now, right? This is what everybody wants to talk about.
You
okay?
do. You do the
So,
Numi.
Yeah, so Numi. Okay, well, I want to know like whose idea, who is the instigator, who's the one that pulled everyone together? Like, hey guys, we need to do
Okay.
this.
That was this guy's race,
Yeah.
obviously.
No. Hold on. So, I get a mysterious DM from Vin.
Serious
like,
DM.
I don't think it was me though.
It was you. December 2020. You messaged me like, Patrick, I want to do endurance racing in an 86.
But I don't think I would just come up with that. I'm
I
not
would
that
not
smart.
come up with that. I would not come up with that. I didn't know I didn't know anything about
The
this.
world
Dude,
works in mysterious
I finished,
ways. What?
I did time attack for like 3 years.
Yeah, but
and
we
then-
knew each other. Okay, so this guy, like, I would see him at autocrosses, and he would just walk up to me like this little kid, and be like, just talk to me, and I'm like, oh, this kid's got some riz, like it's pretty good, and I knew he was FRS boy, like he was an 8.6 community person with a BRZ. He was in that community, and I knew you were in the community, and I probably had a little bit of envy how cool you guys generated friendships out of a platform, right?
Okay, but that started
I'm a
with
lot
you, though.
older. But I think I was like a lot older. Like my kids got old. I was not in the scene as much.
But you were though. If you didn't do everything you did with Speed Academy, Targa, 1500, all the FRS stuff that they did over the years, and like the amount of viewers that they got on their channel, like growing the FRS platform, I watched it. We all watched that stuff. That was all sort of through
Right,
you. So
right.
like,
So yeah, then we talk at like what it was like autocross, a couple autocross.
Yeah, I saw you at
Formula
Piddle.
North or something, maybe. I don't know.
I was not
You were
in
never
Formula.
North?
Yeah.
Piddle, so it's probably Piddle.
Yeah, it's probably Piddle.
Shout out Piddle.
Yeah.
If you want to get into doing any
Cone dodging.
like,
But
just like
gateway.
gateway to motorsports, I would say, right? Like, take your Prius, take whatever, go dodge some cones. Solid group of organizers there, Piddle guys there. Shout out to Lewis.
Shout out Lewis.
Yeah,
We love Piddle.
Yeah, so you came up to me, but like, was it you? You serious? Like, I messaged you
About the racing team, yeah.
in COVID.
Yeah.
So that's probably what it is.
You had the COVID blues
two-track
and you
mind.
sent me a message.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
It's gotta be 2-track.
Numi was a COVID baby. Is what
It was.
I guess it was.
It was
yeah.
a COVID baby.
Yeah. So yeah, he messages me and I was like, oh, I know a guy who already has a car that's like half K.
I know a guy.
He already trailers the car to the track. I'm gonna ask Adam because so Adam, I know Adam from OTA. I won OTA. He also won OTA. I think he won overall, like the entire series, in a stock engine, stock computer, 86. It's insane.
There's a story that connects all of us after too, right? Like,
yeah.
it's hilarious.
So yeah, I talked to Adam like, hey, like, can we use your car for endurance racing? And he was down.
Can we use your car for endurance racing?
That's how I phrased it.
Don't worry, it'll be fine. Everything will be returned back to the way it was.
Well, how would you like to put your car to the hardest possible form of motorsports possible? Like, so, and he's like down. So there's 3 of us now: Vin, myself, and Adam. And then watching Ontario 1500 and knowing Hung from work, we both work at General Motors. Hung and I started the internal motorsports team at General Motors a few years ago. So like, I know he can drive. I know he's motivated. That's 4 of us that can drive. And then our other colleague, Nick, on our team. I know him from the OTA community, crewed with him a bit when he raced in CSCS. So we have a pretty good group of guys going. And from you messaging me December 2020, it was sort of like an idea all the way into January. And then between January to March, we had a cage race car.
We went what? Like, we went wide open throttle. I think the connections started figuring themselves out, because then it was like, Hung, I remember Hung from Ontario 1500. And then it was Adam. Adam goes, so at the time, Adam worked for Toyota Town Lexus of London. He was like the shop foreman there. And Adam goes, yeah, you were my field rep like 10 years ago. I can't remember. And I was like, oh yeah, I remember you, Adam. He's like, yeah, you had a sticker of the Toyota Le Mans TS040 on your laptop. And I was like, wow, this kid remembers.
Selective
He
memory.
remembers.
Memory.
He is a endurance racing fan. So then it all kind of gelled together, and we were total vibes about have fun, just finish.
Yeah.
That was our
For like what, the first 10 minutes?
First season, I think. Well, no, because I think we ended up like top 4 or top 5 in our first couple of races. So we're like, whoa, we could actually
do this,
like,
right?
We finished the race. We swapped the trans the night of the first race. And then we finished.
Did you lose like 3rd gear, 4th gear?
Fourth gear,
yeah,
I think?
4th gear is a soft one, right?
Yeah. We're very lucky to have Adam because he knows the cars in and out. As Vin mentioned, he worked in the dealership network, wrenched on cars.
Yeah, I didn't know he was a foreman. He doesn't strike me as the intimidating kind.
Yeah, he's a customer friendly foreman.
Yeah.
He is customer friendly.
That's rare, man.
Adam's awesome because we're 2 seasons in racing now.
3.
But like when he came to TCI, was that 2 seasons in or 1 season?
I think that was just after the first season.
First season, or maybe it was 2 seasons.
Maybe.
I can't remember. Anyways, Adam, he sends me a message. Just sends me a message where we're in our normal chat, and he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna work at TCI now." So TCI's Toyota Canada. I was like, you kidding me? We've been racing together all this time. You didn't send me the resume to put in nothing. Boy didn't want to do it all on his own. Got the job all on his own. So he works in our office now. He's like our tech hotline guy. So it works out well. Even though Adam still lives in London,
Yeah.
If it's like, hey, bring me a, I don't know, what did he need? Like, bring me the wing. Like, he'll like, or like, we're selling the wing. So like, he brings it to work. I take it. I go sell it. I go pick up a wing. I bring it to
Sketchy
work.
exchanges in the garage
Yeah,
or
and
the
then he
parking
like
lot, right?
goes home. So, yeah, it's like even the like the open trailer that we towed a Lucky Dog with.
Yeah.
It sits at my house. So
I was gonna ask you about that. Like,
The
how do you make that work, man? Like, my idea of the suburbs is not that big,
gotta
where you
come
can
over.
just like store an open trailer just on your property.
I don't know. Oh, I'll send you a photo. You can flash it on the screen.
Yeah.
But my mother-in-law lives next door.
Okay.
Uh,
So you gotta split the
we strategically placed
the nice
it.
patch of grass in between the houses. You know, you just...
I poured concrete.
Oh. I hope none of your neighbors are listening to this.
The fence is there, and I said to my wife, like, listen, I can go and, I don't know.
Rent a space somewhere.
Rent a space, get
Yeah,
guys
yeah.
together to rent a space, or we can have
Yeah.
it on site.
Yeah.
And-
Or she says there's the third option where you get rid of it. But that has come up.
And yeah, so it sits in, like, if you were walked by a house, you really couldn't really tell.
Yeah.
It sits behind a barn, like an aluminum gate barn door. The concrete is poured. After the concrete, the fence still splits the houses. There's openings for the dog to run between both yards, but
Yeah.
like I hand crank it out. There's literally inches. It's an inch on both sides, I think.
Yeah.
Hand pull it out. Bring it to Toyota Canada on the Wednesday before race
Race
weekends.
weekend.
Adam takes it to London. He loads the car.
Yeah.
We show up at the racetrack.
Yeah, I think that's like one thing that like people don't really think about when it's like a weekend of racing. It's even just for that race weekend, it's basically the entire week. Like, you're just trying to get everything together. Big
Yeah.
checklist on a whiteboard somewhere, just trying to like...
Yeah, we keep it on a notes file, and I just
Yeah.
fire it out. We have photographs of where everything goes.
Yeah.
We're nerds. We're like,
Yeah.
we probably nerd out. It's more about the nerd.
These guys got mad at me last year for sending them a Google Keep link, like with checkboxes.
You know what's
And they're like, "Where is
hilarious?
this thing?" I'm like, guys, I know you're gonna forget something when you're packing the trailer.
He
Just open
literally
this app.
sent it to us the night before. Like,
I'm like,
it's such a
I
stark
need-
difference.
I'm like-
we start getting the car
At
ready.
least
Like,
I made a list. I'm like, you need to check off literally every single item. Do
we
not
start
leave
getting the
without
car ready
everything.
like 2 days before.
Yeah.
We call up Enrique. Hey man, so can you get the
Can
car
we
ready in
drive?
2 days? It's insane.
Ugh.
But you know the pain, right? Like the
Yes.
pain of getting like tents, tables, chairs,
Yeah.
coolers.
It's all this
battery
like creature
packs.
comforts that
Yeah.
it's like, oh, do we really need to pack this?
Yeah.
And then when you're there, it's like,
Yeah.
why didn't we pack
Yeah.
this? Right? Yeah.
And-
a lot of that.
It's that learning over and over that I think once you nail that though,
Yeah.
it makes your ability to focus your mind on racing
Yeah.
so much more.
Yeah.
And I'd say probably like that's what I probably bring to the team value wise the
Yeah.
most. Like, this kid's the fastest kid, I'm the slowest, but like, yeah, everyone brings a different role.
It's the reversal
Everyone-
this year, man.
This
I think
year,
it's gonna flip upside down,
I dropped 30 pounds.
There you go. I mean,
so
hey, that's a couple of cents, man.
Let's go.
A couple of tents over 8 hours.
Hey,
2
we
hours,
gotta
right?
get
4
on whatever
hours.
plan he's on.
Yeah, I
We
know.
gotta shove a
He's
couple
drinking some
cents.
kombucha. Like, I got all the chips
Yeah, so
going.
I gotta
like,
get-
you know, like,
listen
a
to
Miss Vicky's
Yeah.
ad over
listen
here
to
going
my
on.
man's weight loss.
Okay, so
Program
I'll
over.
30 second it because it really shouldn't be part of a motorsports podcast. Okay, kombucha, yes.
Ruining the audio.
Chewing.
Yo, that's a good flavor there too. Our
Yo,
Cubs
you
got
want
the-
some?
Our
Want
Cubs
some,
got the
man?
good
Yo, you want
flavor.
some?
Our Cubs got the
This is
good.
in your diet or no?
No.
Yo, Pat, this is you, man.
All right, I got you. I got
Come on,
you.
man.
So yes, this is kombucha. I've been on kombucha for probably 10 years. Shout
Good
out,
for the gut biome.
yeah, GT Dave. He's the OG. I wouldn't rock any other kombucha other than GT Dave's.
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored. OG link up to GT Dave. But what's in this cup is
Please,
Okay.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
all right. Okay, so it's Taiwanese, alpine, high mountain, oolong tea.
Nice.
Oolong tea.
Has to be high altitude.
High altitude because it grows in a harsh environment.
Yeah,
it's an
the
adaptogenic
tea leaves have to work harder.
food.
You know?
Yeah, exactly. Gotta work
Yeah.
harder. So my
It's like
wife,
Eastern European boxers
yeah,
of teas.
yeah, yes, yes,
Okay.
yes. So my wife she was on business in Taiwan. They gifted her some tea. I can't read the package. I start drinking the tea, and I'm like, damn, this tastes really good. It's very like smooth, like very easy go, like nice tea. Drink it for about a month. So it was like December 1st, holiday break. I don't put on any pounds. I start shedding. Come to January, you go back to work, right?
Yeah.
So you go to work and people are like in the cafeteria. They're like, hey man, what's up with your, why do you look, like first they're like, are you okay? Are you
You're a little stressed.
are you
A little
okay?
stressed?
And then you're like, hey, listen, I gotta tell you something, but I'm on this tea. I'm drinking a lot more water and I sleep cold.
Yeah.
I'll tell you about that at another podcast. I sleep cold. Anyways, so I'm running low on this tea
Yeah.
and I don't know what the package says. So I Google reverse image search it to discover that it's Taiwanese high mountain oolong tea.
Yeah.
And there's no Canadian sort of
Distributor.
like distributors of it.
Yeah.
Tea Lira sells like British teas, Indian teas, Chinese teas, and so they're generics. And I come across this Instagram page, Chimney and Tea. And I don't think anything of it, but I'm like, let's DM them.
Yeah.
Chimney and Tea sells Taiwanese high mountain oolong tea. I DM them, showing them the picture of my tea, and they instantly get back to me saying, yeah, we can get you that.
Yeah.
So, oh my gosh, this is in Toronto.
Yeah.
Amazing. And I write, okay, send me 6 packages to one Toyota place. It's just easier to get things at work, right? Everyone ships stuff at work. So,
Yeah.
so and the person on the other end goes, don't worry, I'll bring it to TCI on Monday. TCI is like it's like an internal acronym.
Yeah.
It's like, TCI, how do you know TCI? It's like, oh, it's Regina from marketing. I'm like, Regina from marketing? And she's like, yeah, it's my last day, next week, but I'm pursuing this gig full time.
That's amazing.
Like this. So her aunt owns the tea farm
Where it comes from.
on the mountain.
You got the farm to table
the
now.
farm to table. Farm to table. So Chimney Tea, check it out.
Chimney tea.
Chimney Tea on Instagram.
Big sticker on the Numi card now, right?
Wait, so all you did, no diet, no exercise, you just drank this tea and you lost 30 pounds.
30. So I
This feels like a
Bro.
TikTok
So,
video now,
Di-
like
shut
multi-level
up.
marketing.
Okay, honestly, I talked to Dave Pratt about it. I'm like, yo, Dave, like,
Hey, Dave's lost a lot of weight
because my
recently,
wife
too.
goes, so
Is
my
he on the
wife-
tea?
No, he's not on the tea. So he is on the tea. However, so my wife's like, maybe this has unlocked some sort of like Asian gene of yours.
Yeah.
Right? So maybe it won't work on Caucasians. I was like, okay, I need a Caucasian test bed. Hey, Dave, man, listen to my story. He's like, hook it up. So he's drinking it. He's on day 30. Just yesterday, he sent me, I'm day 30, haven't lost a single pound yet. I'm like, oh man, so we're still new in this. We're still learning.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, you know what? I've been on it for 2 weeks. I feel pretty good.
Look at his skin.
Wait,
I feel
you're having
pretty
it?
good,
Look at his
you know what I'm
skin. Look at
saying?
his skin.
He's been waiting all
Out here,
episode
son?
for this.
This. So
It's like I have to wear a short sleeve.
The
today.
tightest shirt.
Yeah.
Show the pecs. You feel me?
Yeah. Jay's just been flexing the entire
That's
episode.
insane.
This
That's
is like people are
insane.
gonna notice.
That's insane. I need
Patrick
to
is
try
the
this
George
tea.
Russell
I need to try this tea.
of
I
our
need to unlock
team.
my gene
George
power.
Russell of our team here. Even though Hung's got the bigger muscles.
Yeah, what
Sure,
happened to
he's
Hung?
jacked.
He's
He's yoked.
huge now.
Hung's
jacked.
jacked.
He's always been
Huh?
pretty
He's always
jacked.
been huge, man.
Like that though?
Yeah.
Jeez.
He's nuts.
Hung is jacked. Hung is giving us some secrets. I'm supplying the tea. This is 3/10 a lap. Let's go.
I think you're right. 3/10 a lap. That sounds about right.
Well, like, we were talking about like the organizational challenges of like endurance. I mean, I think people, like, it's not just putting the car together and showing up at the track. I think that's the most sort of like, yeah. That's the bare minimum. I think a lot of it, like, maybe including the T, maybe not including the T, is
Tea out.
the people aspect of racing, organizational structure. At the end of the day, you're running an entire operation that some people have made into their own businesses. So, like, getting to know the personal relationships, organizing things, managing people's expectations and personalities. I think it's been.
What do you want out of this, right? It's like, and that journey is gonna ebb and flow, and people at different life milestones. Like this guy's at what are you at a Tinder? Are you at the Tinder life stage?
No, I got a girlfriend, man.
So like, Patrick's at a completely different life stage than say myself and Adam and even Hung and Nick, right? Like we're all at different life stages and trying to gel that together to go racing. I think people underestimate how much vibes you gotta have within the team.
For sure.
Right?
I mean, it's like you're spending so much time together. Again, it's not ever just the race weekend, right? It's like the cold winters when you're on your back and working on your cars together. It's you're jointly financing this endeavor, right? And you're putting yourself into this car where you don't know everything to the T as to what's been done to it, right? So you have to the high altitude T as to what's been done to you. So you got to trust the people who are wrenching, right? Like everyone's got to know, like torque it spec, get the wheels tight on, and trust. There's a lot of trust.
So much trust between the team members. Yeah. So like knowing their goals, what they want to do, but then trusting that their skill, mastery, etc., pours into the car and the team. It's huge.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I want to tease this down a little bit, right? Because harmony for sure, and I think you guys like really exemplify that. But I want to take you back to last year, okay? Event that we were all at, by the way, right? Shannonville, okay?
Sure.
And that was a good race for Team Pardo because it was like, I think we had like one mechanical, something came loose. Something came loose. The lights. I think we were out for like 10, 15 minutes or something like that.
Strut tower.
Something getting loose,
bolt,
right?
Something came loose.
It's stupid mid-height steering arms for the RSX front end. They started backing out. Okay, like we should have just kept driving. But anyway, so we were out for like 10 minutes, and
that day we delaminated.
I during my stint.
During your stint, we delaminated.
Like lucky me.
Front left.
We got a photo of that.
Destroyed. Maybe flash a photo. That was
like
crazy.
So for the viewers, like we pit next to each other.
Exactly.
On purpose.
We're friendly. We help each other out.
Because we like each other. We're rivals, but we like
each other. I mean, like the delamination, man. It was actually freaky because back straight, the fast right-hander, I had like no grip turning into that corner, and so it was just like really like just nursing it through. Everywhere else it felt like okay, but that's the one where it's just like you just had a shadow of the car like driving through. And so fast forward to the end of the race, same lap, 20-second difference at the end.
Yeah, we're on we're at lap 200 and something probably.
Yeah, it was like a high pressure race, and then we were starting to feel the pressure, and then Jay was like, okay, I think we gotta like separate a little bit, like give them their space.
We went upstairs to the grandstand,
to the bleachers.
Because you know what, like I think you guys got a black flag then, right? Or something.
Yeah,
something happened, right?
Another black flag.
Something happened, and I don't want to be, like.
I feel like I did.
Is this when Nick got pulled in, or when you got pulled in? Oh no, this is.
Both of us got
It happened on the same day, didn't it?
I think both of us.
You guys got like 2 black flags.
We got both. Nick got pulled in, and
you're speeding in the pits.
I wasn't. Visor down.
Oh.
down.
Yeah, when you do your fuel ups. Visor down.
Yeah. So Nick got a black flag. I don't know what 4 wheels off maybe.
Yeah.
Then so he was third driver. Switched to me, last driver, and then I get a black flag, and it visor down, and then it's 20 seconds.
Yeah, it was like the exhaust was also like hanging off a little bit.
Was on the ground,
all this on the same day.
We took a hanger off my streetcar.
Yeah. So like what like that's probably like a lot of stress. Like not racing related kind of stress and like things that are happening, right? Like how did you guys manage that.
So
But you still won the race, by the way, at the end of
we
the
were
day.
P1. You guys were P2.
We
Yeah.
were P1 at one point.
Right.
Yeah.
We were P1 at one
Yeah,
point.
in
Oh, the
the
driver
driver
change.
change,
Exactly.
in the driver change
Yeah.
of Nick going over into me,
Yeah.
you guys took P1, and yeah, pressure, definitely, and same. We're running GT1, like so top
Yeah.
category, 20 seconds apart. You know, I would say 6 hours have gone by essentially,
Yeah.
and there's that gap. Like you guys
Yeah.
go to P1, we go to like, so pressure. I don't know. I think the pressure is on the guys in the wall because then they put the slowest guy in the car. They're like, oh no, oh no. So I think that maybe was pressure for the team.
In the pits, not really, because like we got Amando. He's watching the times. He's watching as the lap progresses. So if our engineer worries, then sure, the rest of the team worries. If he doesn't say anything, then it's usually like we're not gonna say an alert to you like, hey dude, you got to pick up the pace.
Except that's what they did.
Did we?
Oh, you
I
guys
feel
are.
like we usually do that
You
though.
guys are always telling me to pick up the pace, and I'm here sitting, save the car, mechanical sympathy, save the car, drive 6/10. Hey, Vin, you need to pick up the pace.
End of the day, you're always gonna like converse with us and say, oh, I'm just racing my race, like I'm doing the best, which is like all we can ask for, but at least we have to tell you at some point.
Yeah, and I think I do. I think I can find some.
We were debating hard in that last tent whether to communicate with Jisung
Yeah.
or not. Like he was in the car, and I think like 10 laps before the end of the race, about like we were like a minute down, so he closed up.
He closed up.
But I
know
also
he-
probably like it's because like you guys are probably communicating to Hung and say, hey, like the gap.
It was me. It was me in the car.
Until the end.
Yeah, I took the
Okay.
checker.
Wow. So like you probably knew that you had a bit of a cushion.
Well, that's why these guys started with pick up the pace.
yeah.
I'm like, why? What's the gap? Give me the gap. Give me the gap.
Yeah, if it had gone on for like maybe another 10 or 15, 10 minutes,
It would've been
maybe
close,
less than 10
dude.
minutes. Because the other thing is like, Jisung was actually having a pretty good battle with the Granui Corolla. Like they were like
Corolla.
trading places, right? And so like, and you know how like our car, we have a pretty fragile transmission. Like when Jisung was trying to catch up, he was like, we had like a bit of a rule of like no second gear. Right? It's like it's too easy to like grenade it, and then he's like the hairpin to the back straight. He's like, all right, here we go. Started slipping it in. It's like got it because like we couldn't. I don't know. Something with the diff wasn't great, and I think like at Calabogie, the race after the diff exploded in the car. It wasn't really grabbing on the exit. Couldn't put the
power
it
down.
wasn't just like clawing like it used to, pulling out, right? And so just had to use the gearing advantage as much as we could to make it happen. But yeah, like he was battling, closing, but
Shannonville's interesting, right? Because it's such a flat track that you
Yeah.
will cross back. Like if you're someone who's 20 seconds back,
Yeah.
you'll see them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when they are on the rail, like, hey, they're right there, and you see them,
you're like, oh no.
you're like, oh, this is gonna be tight.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, that was
That
great.
was a great race. And I think it was a great race for the series too, right? Like that weekend was pretty good.
Yeah, like that. I always feel the good vibe as long as like Shannonville stays dry, which I don't remember if that weekend
Saturday
was
was
dry.
wet.
Saturday
No,
was
Saturday
wet,
was wet.
right?
Did you guys win GT1 both days?
I don't think so.
Because we were
Maybe,
second for
but-
GT2
no,
on
so
GT1 on both
No,
days.
because Saturday the issue was the overall race winners were not in GT1.
Yeah.
So I think you guys may have won GT1.
But the
Saturday as well,
overall,
but the overall
wasn't.
was
Good point. Good memory, man.
I think it was.
Sport
I want
Cup.
to say it was the Prelude guys, right? May have won it. Chasing Cars might have been
Chasing
Saturday.
Cars.
I don't know. I feel like it might have been. I could be making it up. Pretty sure it was a GT2 car that took it though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah,
Yeah.
there was a GT2 that won overall, maybe.
I remember sitting in the rain at some point.
Yeah, Shannonville's tough in the rain. I think that main straight river is.
Oh, I went for a little landscaping.
Landscaping?
Yeah, a little landscaping action.
I think it's so because it's like you normally there you're carrying some pretty
yeah.
like
You
high
just- you-
speeds.
It's Shannonville's like a track where you really need to know the wet line.
Yeah.
Yeah, and know it well. Because I mean, it's not only like you know, it's a flat track, which kind of helps in a sense, but it's bumpy, and there's different patches of track that have been laid throughout the years, right? And so some of it's like bumpy, some of it's fresh, which is actually ironically more slippery, right? Before it's kind of like roughed in. So yeah, that was always a bit. And I was actually I when I went out for my wet stint, I was following the Scalar car. I think they had the hot shoe driver, and I can't remember his name. You probably know who it was that weekend.
Yeah, Joel Fillets.
Joel?
Yeah.
He had great white lines.
Yeah.
And I was just following him. I was like, oh, okay.
He's
gotta
a drifter, man.
hang
He's
with
so
it.
like low traction. That dude's so good. He doesn't need the tire at all.
Yeah. And so, yeah, no, that was
surprisingly like. I think we need to coordinate better at hangouts post race. Like we always say that.
Like, hey, fire's coming, fire's on over here. Let's go hang out.
Let's have drinks after the race, and then we never end up figuring it out.
I think part of it's like some teams always have like some post race repairs to deal with, right? And then that messes up the timing a little bit. I think the best opportunity really is just like Friday night. It's usually pretty good if we have our shit together, right? Where it's like not like, oh, we have XYZ things that we still have to do before they get in the car ready.
I'm hoping for more logistics planning that allows us to do more. Getting to know like teams and.
I mean that's the part like that everybody enjoys about Lucky. Right.
Yeah, that definitely is.
Yeah. Whereas this guy's like, I can't do camping.
Yeah, I can't.
I need the Airbnb.
No, I need the Airbnb. No way.
How'd that work out for us last year at OTA?
Airbnb? What do you mean?
Yeah, you remember Shannonville OTA?
Yeah, I had to climb through a window to get my key. It was ridiculous.
We ran an Airbnb.
I had an electronic lock that stopped working. We went back.
After dinner.
Midnight?
Yeah, it was
then
really
we
late.
couldn't get in. The
Calling the
Airbnb,
owner, wouldn't pick up.
They didn't pick up, so we had to go into town. We got a hotel, and then next morning I still couldn't get into the. So I had to climb through a window to get my key to make the race.
They ended up, the owner called her son in to help, and they ended up removing the in-window air conditioning so that he could crawl through.
All my key.
He's like, I can see the key on the bed.
Right there,
Like to his BMW, right? Because otherwise he wouldn't be able to compete.
Yeah.
And then he just like rushes back to the track.
Yeah, and I made it back. I didn't get my first practice session. I got my second one, so yeah. But, and then we won.
We're doing an Airbnb for race 1 and 2.
Okay. Yeah. Already booked it.
We booked it as well.
What city do you guys stay in for GP? That's always like I'm trying to figure out like where you're in Bowmanville.
We're in Bowmanville proper. I think it's like a 5-bedroom house that we're gonna stay in. It's a trial this time. If it's good, we'll book it for a race.
Whichever
5, 6,
back
6,
in,
7, whatever.
Back at GP.
Yeah. Shannonville, we don't have a plan yet.
Yeah.
Or maybe did I book hotels? I can't remember. For Calabogie, we were always up at Calabogie Lodge.
You guys like the lodge, huh? You guys like the lodge vibes.
Yeah, we're lodge
We got
vibes.
grilling.
Yeah.
And then we go to a moonlit lake in the night. Drunk as hell.
We should probably try the lodge this year. Because every year we try to do like more like one of the fancier ones. Because like it's off season, right, for skiing, and so you can have like a really cool places.
Oh, yeah, like a chalet.
And you always know like there's one that you're kind of eyeing, and then a few days later it's gone. You're just like, which team snagged that one?
Drive Tech's always got the ones right by the track.
Yeah.
They know. That's
they know.
locked in for them.
Yeah, they know. And then Chuck books out all the hotels that are like actually trackside. So.
Yeah, that's the ones. I mean, they'll trackside hotels. Because I mean, it'd be nice to stay on site. I feel like, but the lodge we manage the lodge 7 minutes away. So I camped 1 year for Bogey, and you'd be surprised at how hard it is to find a patch of grass. Yeah.
We camped.
We camped season 1 and season 2. Season 1 and
like a half season 2.
Half season 2. We were campers.
Like Vin has he had a rooftop tent on the 400. I had a tent on the ground. I didn't have a patch of grass. I just did it on the cold hard cement. It was rough.
We were straight like willing to do camping for quite a bit, and then we just got bougie and like
it's for fun. You know, when you can.
Well, you don't have to worry about like the camp stuff, but like it doesn't mean if you're like in grassroots trying to come up to do this.
Do the camping. That's where you meet the people, right? Like the midnight bonfires. Yeah, that's the fun stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like this year we could do some camping.
I'm down.
I feel like I can do some camping this year. trackside camping's fun.
Yeah. So, reflecting on the past couple of seasons, actually, I'm curious at like where you guys stack in terms of like overall podiums for Lucky Dog Racing Canada history, because you might actually be first on that.
Like most number of podiums in a season?
No, like just
Total
across.
podium count, maybe.
Maybe.
Oh,
Because I feel like the only other teams that could give you a run for your money, and I'm saying like GT1,
Yeah,
GT2,
Mantis
like
for
it's probably
sure.
like
Mantis,
Ultra
Mantis,
Ray,
Ultra,
right?
they're
What's the
the
other
legends.
one?
They are the legends.
Yeah. So I don't know. We should do the math. Yeah,
It'd be
get Chuck in.
interesting.
because
I will
it's
say
kinda-
that in 2023, all of Numi Racing's podiums had me in the car.
Yeah, that's the important part. Yeah, and if it doesn't happen this year, we know the only thing that's changed is the T. So you know, hey buddy,
Hi, buddy.
Coming from my
Hi.
want to join the podcast?
Dog right in the.
This guy, just put on the Salika. Oh man,
This is to abuse. This.
yeah, he's got to sign a release for him.
Yeah.
Do you accept to be on media?
Yeah. So, reflecting back on the past 3 seasons, right? What would you do differently, if anything?
Oh, that's tough. That wasn't on the pre-read.
There's no pre-read for this. What are you talking about? It's all organic conversation.
What would we do differently? Would we have an 8.6? I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good question. Would it still be an 8.6?
I feel like I don't know. I mean, if we ever started from scratch, would we start with a Supra? I don't know.
Not for LD.
Wait, sorry, what?
For LD, we're like, I mean, you guys gotta, like, you guys.
If you bring a
man.
Supra, you know the
No,
problem.
man.
You guys are driving way more.
You guys are the TCR, man.
You guys
If you
don't know what
if you
it
guys bring a Supra, the problem with a shop like MTech is like you can't really one up them on the car that you bring, right?
No.
So
You got a TCR car, man.
We're not trying. Like, to be honest, like our car's pretty old. Like, it's a first gen.
It's an 11-year-old car.
It's an 11-year-old car.
Yeah.
That's like it's. What will we do different? I feel like.
Thinking back, if we did the math on how much it would cost to get a sequential and the repair fees
That's
for
a
a sequential, we've been
sequential.
discussing this because
Yes.
the 86 is known to have a really poor
This is not gonna work
transmission.
out.
you're just getting wrecked right now. Sorry.
No, that's mine. These are my snacks.
I should take mine up as well. And you guys, like, you've switched your
yeah.
transmission to a DCT for like a similar reason, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
the 86 transmission is just so poor.
Well, so what I've heard, so this is a secondhand, garage advice. So Chris likes to troll around on forums for racing. Chris Bisson, one of our team members, and he basically said that like all the people who do enduro with Civics run an oil cooler for the transmission, force pump oil cooling, because it's just like when you put that many hours through it, like the degradation and the heat soak.
We've done a lot of studying too about whether we think it's like that's something that a trans cooler would fix. We're not
Yeah.
sure of it. We're super like nerd about weight gain to the car. We're super nerds about
So you,
that. Colin Chapman.
one of those pumps is like actually
It's-
like 10,
it's- yeah,
15
it's 10,
pounds.
50 pounds, right? Like I sweat a lot at Calabogie. I'm dying at Calabogie, and I begged Adam to put in
Cooling system.
what's
The
what's
tank, right?
Cool suit?
Cool shirt.
not cool. The other one,
Oh, chill out.
chill out system.
Okay, yeah.
Begged him. I said, I'll pay for it. We'll plumb it.
Like, no, heat stroke is okay.
He's
Extra
like-
weight is not.
He's like, no, it's 11 pounds. I said, oh.
Well, see, so this is actually relevant to the conversation because now what we're doing is like from a lot of other people's eyes is kind of silly, where we're trying to shave fractions of pounds from everywhere in the car to get.
I mean, you freaked me out when you guys told me what your car weighs.
At one point, it weighed 2350.
That's
For an
insane.
86.
That's
yeah.
insane.
That was before the fuel tank. So like our doors
Yeah.
are all fumbly.
Yeah,
we don't
yeah.
have the rear shelf under the rear glass. We don't even have rear glass.
Yeah,
So it's a
with
really
left
light
hand.
car. But see, we're making the car extremely light because we're fixed on running the boxer engine for now.
Yeah.
And you can't really, like, naturally aspirated, we don't want to hurt reliability. We're trying to add a little bit of power, but mostly lightweighting on the boxer engine that unfortunately has its issues, which is why
Yeah.
we're switching out from one as well.
And obviously, like, our RSX is like, not as potent as it once was, but like on Shannonville, like you guys were like kind of pulling on us on the back straight,
Interesting.
right?
Really?
Like with that weight saving and like RSX, at least when we dynoed that motor, it was like 237 at the wheels.
Oh, we're nowhere near that. We're
Yeah.
like 150.
We're like 190
But
At
the
the wheels?
with the tune, maybe.
Wow, I
Right,
think
and-
we're down like 190, maybe 190p.
Yeah, but so I mean the other difference, like the RSX, like when we weighted, it was actually heavier than we thought it was. I think it was like 27 something, and it's a pretty stripped out car too, right?
Yeah, Adam is weight obsessed. As am I. I think all of us are fairly weight obsessed.
Yep.
But if going to your original question about trans, you unlocked it. It is the trans.
Trans and power plant. Unfortunately, those are the two weakest points in the car.
Yeah.
Those are the parts that we've had to replace the most frequently.
Yeah.
Have you guys had to replace the motor?
I mean,
Not due to the motor issues. It's all
Yeah.
driver issues.
Yeah.
So either crashing, over revving.
Yep.
Same with the transmission. We're finding like improper
yeah.
downshifting.
That's why I'm just
I
like
agree.
forget it.
I agree.
Like you
I
know,
agree.
forget the
Forget
shifting.
They're made for like the engine and the transmission is made for a road car, and it's great. Like my personal BRZ,
It is.
I didn't have a lot of problems with that car for a very long time.
Let's be clear. We're doing 8 hours of racing on Saturday, 8 hours of racing on Sunday. We do this for 9 events a year.
And the first event this year is going to be a lot more than that because Friday is a full day of testing.
testing.
Exactly. So
full day?
Yeah, I think so.
Reliability on an OE, effectively OE powertrain for this much racing, I actually would say it's been good. If in retrospect, we've learned a lot about the transmission to make it very, very robust for our purposes now. But
Yeah.
a sequential would get rid of the complaining of heel towing for me.
I mean, you guys already got blip shift in there.
Blip shift
you
is where
know.
it's at.
Yeah,
Like,
it is.
Blip
It
shift is where it's at.
Yeah.
I'm not Senna in those loafers. I cannot do that for 2 hours.
You know,
I can't.
the heel toe, everyone's like, oh, like, you know, it's the way to go. And I do think, like, it's worth learning for everyone. But you just can't match the same sensitivity of threshold braking, right? And especially for a car that you guys are driving where overslowing is, like, your biggest enemy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to save a lot.
I don't have the brain capacity to do it so effortlessly like Patrick. Like, you don't want to look at my foot cam.
Well, hold on.
You
That's
want to look at his foot cam.
my Shannonville lap. Like the unofficial record lap. I think Adam actually went faster, but for an NA Gen 1, like my fastest lap, I was using the blip shift the entire time.
See, there you go.
Yeah.
Right. So it's, I don't know. I mean, you're out there for 2 hours, so you don't want to be. That's just
You want it
another level of
comfortable.
complexity to do. And even on the street, I think I probably don't even do it now anymore.
Dude, GR Corolla has it.
It has
You
it.
have blip
GR
shift.
Corolla just does it, and you're like, ooh, this. I mean, like, why not let technology make you feel like a hero once in a while?
Yeah. But yeah, engine, mostly trans. But in my head, I'm like, we're spending a lot of money to de-weight the car. Yep. What if we just maybe in the future changed power plants and the transmission completely to
So
something?
what would you change it to, though?
I have
right?
no idea.
Yeah.
We have no idea.
We can't even think about it, some platform that would be worth all of the integration work.
Yeah, because then there's like another learning curve of a new powertrain, right? So it's, maybe like my dream is to obviously just maximize what we have. Gen 2 obviously is a very, very good car. Maybe a Supra. I don't we'll see.
Yeah, we've been one of the ones that we've been kind of toying with is looking at more European side, like the 1 Series BMWs, right? Are pretty interesting, like a 135.
Well, the other
Run
legend.
that turbo motor?
Yeah,
Ooh.
turbo 135 TCT, because I think that engine's not very expensive.
Yeah.
That's because they suck.
Well, okay, so I mean, the other legendary LDRC endurance racing team is DriveTech, right?
Yeah.
DriveTech brings in clients and trains them on 135s.
Yeah.
And I
Are they
think
in the
they're
35
the
or
automatic.
28?
I think they're
28.
28.
28. Okay.
28.
Yeah, so the
spot.
chassis is really good.
Yeah.
Chassis is very reliable. Chassis got performance in it, so
Yeah.
maybe that is the way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, 135. You guys would dust us on the straights.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
These are all, it's just like, pipe dreams.
Pipe dreams
Like
right
thinking
now.
about
Yeah.
stuff, right?
But instead of the 135, you just have a TCR car instead. So it's fine.
So to set the record straight, it is
I watched the video. It's
It
not
is
a street car.
It's a street car.
that was
converted
It's still
with TCR,
It has
some
knockoff
TCR
body parts,
okay.
Yeah.
In our group chat, we're hella afraid of you guys this year. Hella afraid.
Well, so I'm gonna be realistic. GP, both of these cars are able to basically go to the limit of close to the breakout, right? Like you've kind of demonstrated that with
Well,
the FRS.
what are we 30, 36?
I did a 36.
I did
Yeah.
a 37. 37.5, I think, is my PB at GP.
And so that's basically at the limit of GT1. I think what it comes down to for GP is which car is gonna last the whole race and which team doesn't get flagged for anything, right? And then which team nails the pit stops, right?
Yeah.
And so here's what I know, right? You guys are putting in a new fuel cell.
Yeah.
It's new, so maybe some things to work out,
Yep.
but it's more advantageous compared to your old setup, which was like a what is it, like a
tanks.
harvesting,
OE plus.
yeah, harvesting situation. For simplicity, on the MTech car, we are doing what you guys had before,
Ah,
right?
Okay.
So keeping the OE
Auxiliary,
fuel, and then there's an auxiliary switch.
switch, yeah.
So on paper, of course, how a car can it be? You just gotta flip a switch when the fuel tank is empty.
It's pretty reliable.
Reliable, but we'll have to figure out how to do fueling with two systems. I think we're doing a dry brake for the auxiliary tank, but the OE tank is still gonna have to be like a regular filler neck. Everyone's new to the car that's driving, except for one of the drivers who's part of MTech. So figuring out the ergonomics of getting into the seat, who's at what seating position, blah 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 blah. I don't know. I think to me I usually am the optimistic one, but I've kind of seen this play out so many times now over the years that I'm just we gotta. And it's a good thing we have the Friday because
Yeah.
we're gonna need it. We gotta actually we've never done a 2-hour test
Yeah.
in the car
Set
right to see how it goes.
expectations. Like we always said, our first expectation was try to finish the
Yeah.
race. And with the points,
Probably this guy's telling everybody we're gonna win.
We
We're
gotta
gonna
win.
the first one is
I
gotta
hunt
win.
podiums.
It's
I hunt
so
podiums.
on your guys' team, who's
Yeah.
the one holding people back? So clearly, Jay, he's
No,
the one
you know
saying,
what?
go.
You know
You know
what?
the problem is I don't know if there's anyone on our team who's super we gotta be chill, which kind of scares me a little bit. Probably Leo has
Yeah,
the most mechanical
absolutely.
sympathy, right?
Absolutely, for sure.
He's a part of MTech.
Yeah.
He's a president of MTech,
Yeah.
right?
No, he just works there. Yeah.
Do you? I feel like he throws around the title
President? No.
I know.
Will's the big boss. Will's the big
Will's
boss.
the owner, right?
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah.
But Leo, he's
More.
he knows the car really well, right?
Okay.
He works on the car.
Yeah.
He's kind of set it up.
But will he get on the radio? And
I don't know if
say-
he'll get on the radio, but he'll give us shit afterwards.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
I get on the radio with these guys.
Yeah.
I get on the radio and I tell them,
Yeah.
pace down, save the car,
Yeah.
save the car. And I'm the only one who will do that.
Yeah.
All of them are go fast, go for it.
Yeah.
And I kind of hold them back. And that yin and yang, I think it works well.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You have to have a voice on both sides for sure, or else you're just gonna get carried away. Yeah. When it goes bad is when you don't have the guy enforcing, hey, we should probably set a target lap time, which is, I think we didn't do that in the best way for Nick.
Yeah.
And then he went 4 off trying to push, and then
I lost my crap.
And then he lost his
I
cool
lost
in
my
the
cool
pits.
because
He
I
was
was
pretty upset.
I was upset because
Yeah.
we
You did the thing.
I did the thing of hey guys, we got to pace, and then they were chasing what was
Yeah.
exciting, and it I don't know what happened. Did we lose a position or something?
well, that's when he got called in. That's when he got
Yeah.
black flag.
Black flag,
Yeah.
thrown out of the car.
Which is why you were the most upset, because
Right.
he was right. He was preaching to us the whole time, guys, we gotta dial him back. We're not gonna. This isn't sustainable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need sometimes that voice of reason, but I know it's racing. Racing's exciting. I mean, I don't.
Yeah.
In Formula One, you hear the race engineer. He's that individual is probably the most calm
Yeah.
of the entire team. He's not the Toto that's like banging a table. No, he's gonna get on the radio and calmly tell, the driver, this is what we're targeting. And that's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think one problem that our team's gonna have is, I think everyone's got a hot shoe. You know what I'm saying? Like we have like TA champ, GTA champ. We have Chris,
Overall
SGT,
GTA champ.
Multiple times.
SJDB.
I think you
right?
raced in touring car.
Yeah.
Like we went out to TMP for a test day and it was supposed to be chill. Everyone just learn the car. Everyone do 10, 15 laps, have some fun. First guy goes out, does this time. Next guy tries to go faster. Next guy, this guy sees the delta. It's like, oh, boom, right into the wall. That is what's gonna tear us apart.
Of the wall,
that competitive edge is gonna tear us apart.
I just kept getting on the throttle earlier and earlier and earlier. I'm like, this is the most important corner. Let's just squeeze a little bit. And I was like, tires are a little
But
greasy.
can't do that.
racing. We're racing. We are all born to race, right?
Absolutely.
We're competitive.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
the main thing is like, because we're all looking to improve and trying to figure out like where we're at, right? And you have this opportunity where it's like, same day, same car. Oh, what did Jason put down? Okay, like let's see it, like if I can get there too, right? But I think like we talked about this, it's like endurance racing is probably like the absolute worst time to try and do it because one, like it's bad for the car, but like you think it's like, oh, same car, same day, same conditions, right? Couldn't be further from the truth. The car that you start with at the beginning of the day is a completely different car than the one that ends the race.
Yeah,
right?
we've had that conversation on our team. We've had that conversation because Patrick's a starter, and I'm either finisher or Hung's either finisher.
Yeah.
And so Patrick's like, give me the car at the last. Give me the car at the last stint. Goes out FTD or what did you? I don't know what you did. Right?
There was one point where like I had a car that was like misaligned and I still did like a
purple all sectors. Let's go.
I did like a 28.
Yeah.
I tell him. I was like, oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
I got it.
Forget you guys. He's just like, forget you guys.
So I mean, it's like different things, right? Like, so in that situation, maybe like the track guy like really rubbered in. Maybe it started getting cooler because usually it's the beginning of the day. Like
I'd say
FCD is like almost always like let's say at Calibogie, like first five laps.
Yeah, first 5 laps.
And like nobody can touch that
Middle
anymore.
stints are hardest because it's hot. The sun's out. It's hot. Heats up the track.
Yeah, or like you're like me and you drive on 3 tires. You try to make it around.
But yeah, I think different conditions make for different things, and yeah, the drivers. Well, you guys have hot shoes, so the hot shoes are gonna want to hot shoe out each other, right? Whereas us, I think generally we know the pecking order of speed, like.
We're trying to change that this year. Like we've had discussions on changing the driver order. Low key, I'm probably still gonna have the mindset of like, all right, so they all started with like really good tire. I'm gonna finish the race and still try to do like it's not a good idea. I agree.
Yeah.
But there are prowesses, right? I mean, if you go and look at the Porsche Le Mans team or the Toyota Le Mans team, they set out an order for a reason because one guy's a tire whisperer or one guy's good with like starting traffic like that.
Start traffic.
The start of the LDRC race is chaos. It's hectic. You are wheel to wheel on cold tires.
Yeah.
And like we've been trying to rotate our drivers to give us that experience. I haven't started a race, but everyone else pretty much has.
Yeah.
And
you gotta suss out the other guys around you too, right? And
right?
have that
You don't know what the
experience
experience level is of each of the drivers. Like, I have no idea how you guys are gonna pick your driver order.
We'll figure it out. I think it's less tricky now because like the RSX like truly was like tricky for starts because like cold tires, but also like similar to the other older Hondas, like no ABS. That's where
braking.
like it really gets a little bit like dicey because like we're gonna have a big braking distance, and this guy comes up the rear and just like brake dives like 100 yards down.
No, that's good. Not brake dive. We just have control of the car in the braking zone.
Exactly.
Unless it's them.
Yeah.
Unless it's that.
I think it went 3 wide with Chris Bisson. We're both going around to Centra at one point on Shanville, and like
scary,
it was
man.
if it's these guys, I'm like
Yeah, you'll
I'm
go.
a little
You'll
bit
go.
more.
You're a little,
So, like,
you'll go a little more.
Now TT ABS automatic transmission with the paddle
Focused.
downshift.
Yeah.
So, like that's
Pure
nice.
focus. Yeah, I think that's gonna
More
be
focus,
that's
that'll
gonna be
help you
really nice. But the hecticness is tough, and our car is light, so it sometimes feels like we're, dive bombing people, but
Yeah.
we're not.
I think
Genuinely,
that's
we
the
are
tricky
not.
part is like I think it really comes through at Shannonville, right? Because like for cars without ABS, because there's so many bumps into the braking zone, I'm thinking about like the final sector before the left-hander, before the hairpin.
That little
That straight braking zone is horrible,
Yeah.
right? And like we're like if we don't start braking before the access road on the right,
Yep.
we will lock, guaranteed, right? And so whereas you guys like
You break at
were
the end of the access road.
way further down, right? And so, and then when you start to interpret the rules, well, okay, like my braking point is much later, and so when you think about like the turn in, like okay, well you have to have overlap before the braking, right, to be given racing room. I think that's like the rule in the books, right? But then when you have completely different braking zones,
Completely different weighted cars, right? Like
Yeah.
I think people, like you said, like if we're at 2,300 pounds, we are gonna carry way more brakes. Like we don't turn 8 most sport, we don't brake.
Yeah.
Like
wow.
there won't be lights on our car.
So it's just a little lift or just flat?
It's just a lit. Like I used to do this guy.
Or you
Don't
do
ask
flat,
them.
just let the tire scrub off the speed.
He'll
Right?
scrub. I will breathe
Yeah.
and get back on. But that means this car's competitor cars are braking under the bridge, right? So brake lights on. I can count to 3 almost before we're like lifting and turning in. So from the competitor's vantage point, it looks like we're dive bombing. But if we were truly dive bombing, our car would be off the track. We would like. So there's control. Welcome to the world of light, and that's how we've been doing well. Like it's also more fuel efficient.
Yeah. Are we gonna be able to flat 8? You've driven the car.
Detuned? No, it's probably gonna be like.
Brake tap.
Because I think we want to be on power through there. That's the thing. We're front row drive, right?
Yeah.
So it might be safer just brush the brake, load up the front, get the car turned in, and then pull the car straight.
Yeah.
That's a safe way of doing
That's
it.
gonna
does
be
that car
a tire shredding corner.
How much does that car weigh?
2,800.
28. Sounds about
Full
right. It should
cage,
be
it's
similar
pretty
to the
good.
RSX.
Yeah.
Okay.
28.
That's scary, man. That's gonna.
Well, it's in the process of being detuned right now, but it has I think it's like the IS38 turbo. Is that what the model? It's like a bigger turbo, and so it's like kind of hard to decrease the power a substantial amount. So I think we'll probably end up like actually very similar to where the RSX was, probably like 230
Okay.
would be my guess. Yeah. So I think like honestly like the two cars are gonna be pretty
Close.
competitive with
Like,
each other.
I mean, remember
Really
R30.
excited
Hey,
for the
R36, minute 36 out of this guy, and say peak 37 out of me. That's peak.
Yeah, that's not race pace.
That's not race
Absolutely
pace.
not.
That's like you get one shining lap, but then we'll be asking to go back into the 40s for race pace.
Well, our engineer gives us a small window of like, okay, like you should probably back it down, make the tires last a little bit longer, and then toward the end of the stint, if there's enough fuel, he's like, all right, the next 10 laps you can try to put down a banger if you want, but obviously keeping in mind the car.
Don't go off.
Yeah.
Like,
First race of the season.
we got to make it to the end of the season
Yeah,
too,
dude,
right?
we got
'Cause
new spring rates, we got new wing,
We want to.
What changes you guys make for the season?
So many.
like the biggest ones.
Yeah, the wing's different now.
the
right? You
wing's
got
different.
the
Low drag.
low
We
drag.
got a low drag Varus wing. Shout out Varus. We're
out.
not sponsored, but like we could.
It'd be nice.
We've used they're like normal wing and
We've had their giant
UCW wing,
Yeah.
and we're running now their Varus.
the
low drag.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's just, I think different spring rates that
Spring
we're
rates,
testing. We're,
yeah.
we're not sure.
What you change?
We're still testing that.
Is square or
I actually don't know the rates. I think we're making the car softer though, because like Shannonville, like personally
We are
Shannonville for
making
me, I was like, oh,
Just
I felt
diff?
horrible getting out of the car.
Yeah.
And the car's compliant. It's like decently compliant. I think we're just testing the lower threshold of like how soft can we go for like mechanical grip
still
tracks.
have the
Exactly.
weight transfer side to
Yeah,
side. That's not
yeah.
too
I'm
bad.
actually worried about most sport, given that we're on a
that
smaller
we're
wing
smaller
now.
wing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because so there's that.
Yeah, the
change.
first few times, through 4 into 5, you might want to, take it a little bit more
Oh,
chill.
absolutely.
With a little
Yeah,
bit
I'm not-
less downforce.
Testing day. Friday testing day is gonna be big.
I'm gonna be so scared testing day.
Testing day is gonna be big. But our fuel system's being like you said, we're one cell now, so it's one dump, dry brake, big vent tube. So that's a big change for us.
Then just
Cooling, we're trying to cool the car and make it more reliable.
we heat shielded our header, and that's just about it. Like I think we're running all the same stuff as last year, other than
You put like the OE heat shield back on?
it's like OE style because we have an aftermarket header.
Right.
But I think we got Greg.
Maybe you can
from
run like a
Vibrant
NACA duct piped to the
To the ignition
header
coil?
bank. Yeah, to the ignition coil.
I think I don't know if we're gonna make a cut. I haven't proposed it to Adam yet, like to cut the under tray, but yeah, definitely.
Adam doesn't want to cut the under tray. He doesn't
Oh,
want to
okay.
cut. He does. Like we put speed holes in it, like very like
Even through the aluminum
strategically thought.
plates.
Like the plate. We've done that, but heat management's still an issue for hot tracks like Calabogie in the middle of the summer in June. So we're still trying to just deal with that.
You guys have the front boxed?
No.
No.
We actually blocking it off sometimes.
Really?
Yeah, for
Why?
some of the cold races,
Okay.
like we block off the front with like just a piece of plastic that Nick drilled a lot of holes into. We zip tied it to the bumper.
Like when
Yeah.
I boxed my car, and by the way, you should probably box it after you do some churchy. I just used like real estate signs, realtor signs
Like
that
plastic
like chloroplast.
corrugated.
Hard plastic, yeah.
I just bought some of that from Home Depot and made my own.
Yeah.
This was back when like everyone's like, oh, you gotta get like an upgraded radiator, like Koyo Rad and whatnot. I was like, I'm gonna just try this, right? Stock fan, stock radiator, just boxed it
Yeah.
as best I could. Never had an issue
Yeah.
with overheating.
Well, more races than not, our oil and radiator temps are
Too
good.
low.
Yeah.
No, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
they're-
yeah,
Oh, it's
they're
just that
actually-
exhaust-
It could be too low, yeah.
Like
It's like that exhaust
first
temp.
stint, they're low probably.
Yeah.
I think like 9 a.m. Calabogie, cold Calabogie,
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
pretty
yeah.
low.
Yeah.
Yo,
It's,
Beneath is here too.
it's,
Your entire team is here.
Yo, they're
we're,
here.
we're about to get mobbed.
Yeah.
My team knew me.
We can't come to the RCLUB thing this Saturday.
So you're here
we
now.
might not be able to come this Saturday because
we
we're
might
gonna be
not.
rebuilding the race cars. So
Yeah.
But yeah, we also got some like OEM style heat shielding on the header. Quick shout out to Greg from Vibrant to helping us
Yes.
with that project.
Got the Vibrant hookup. Nice.
Just the homie who's a
8.6. He's 8.6.
yeah, he's got an 86. I think Dave has actually had Greg's car on the show before too.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the car power wise mostly unchanged.
Yeah.
A little bit of weight loss.
Weight loss.
Weight loss.
Everyone's gonna drink tea.
Everyone can drink tea.
Yeah.
Yeah. And thinking about changes, right? Cars are changing, but the championship format is also changing, right? We
Oh,
talked about
man.
this a little bit. What's your take?
I mean, our team. I'm always about being agile to face the environment.
Yeah.
That's kind of my like.
This guy,
like-
it's got that Kaizen
Yeah,
mentality,
it's
you
just
know?
like but it's like.
True Toyota man.
Yeah, but I get it. It's challenging, Chuck. It's gonna be challenging.
Yeah.
Mainly more from like the glory of winning, the glory of podiuming. There's not a lot to separate that. Is probably our like after we've digested it for 2 months and now built the car. We've now really recognized the focus of reliability, but the focus of speed to repair. So how fast can you swap a box? How fast can you swap a coil on plug? That's our shift on our focus because of the shift in the
So,
championship.
Hold on, quick
weird,
refresher
viewers,
for our viewers.
Yeah.
The rule change is that you get 1 point per lap. So throughout the season. So if we're thinking about Shenandoah Pro layout, which the lap times are so much shorter. So theoretically, like you could have a situation where somebody doesn't show up to Calabogie because it's the longest number of laps or the least number of laps. But for the same points you're earning at Shenandoah Pro, you're just getting so much more throughout the same day.
Which
so.
is great that's going to be the final race, right? Pro is the final race.
I think
All's
Chuck
up for
designed it
grabs.
like that, right?
Yeah.
It's all up for grabs at a track that we don't. The
don't run
drivers
very
don't
often.
know, right? I don't
Yeah.
run pro that often. I think 10 years ago I ran pro.
It's a power layout.
It's a power layout, right? That's going to be a disadvantage for us a little bit. So the championship is different. I'm sure Chuck's just trying different things.
Yep. And we discussed this a little bit when he was on it because I think what it does is encourages people to try to get the car back
Yes,
out
that's the key.
on the same weekend if they experience a mechanical, right?
Don't
maybe
pack
you
it
won't,
up.
Yeah, maybe you won't podium, but
But
Still
there's a
collect
chance.
points.
There's a chance you're collecting points. So
Yeah.
get it back out. Don't pack up the trailer. Like race.
So Scrap Denial is gonna finish the race this
Yeah.
year. Well, I mean, they finished.
they stay on.
They finished.
They stay
Yeah.
out.
I mean, sometimes it's like they come in for fuel and they're like, oh, they're here. All right.
Again. Didn't you just go out? And it's back.
Scrap's chilling. Scrap's.
Yeah.
Yo, Scrap is fast though. Scrap
Yeah.
is
When that
fast.
car is running right.
Yeah.
It's scary.
They're so fast.
Those guys are out there for joy, and that's why I love it.
Otherwise, Shane's just like.
Yeah, that's right.
Yo, best snacks though. Best snacks in the paddock.
Pop
Yeah,
tarts.
yeah.
They got best snacks in the paddock for
Yeah.
sure.
They gave us their nuts one year. It was
Yeah,
great.
they gave us their nuts.
We had Scrap's nuts in our mouth.
Yeah, Scrap's
Very
nuts.
nice.
It's
Very
good.
nice. Oh boy, yeah. It's. I mean, I'm super. I can't believe it's 2 weeks away.
I can't believe it's 2 weeks away.
Is it really 2 weeks away?
Yeah, we're racing.
Dude.
we're
Sometimes I
racing.
gotta tell you, man.
Oh,
It's coming
man.
up.
It's 2 weeks
We're
away.
2 weeks from
That's
test
We're
day,
2
man.
weeks from
That's
testing.
crazy. What?
Like, it's-
Mind blowing.
I can't believe that we're gonna start the 24 season endurance racing season. It's gonna be awesome.
I don't know why I feel like really excited about this year about tracking in general. There's just something about this season that like, not just like Lucky Dog. I just feel like everything like there's a lot of people getting involved, a lot of series, like so many series now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
For like Time Attack.
Yes.
right?
Time attack is
And-
big. I think generally most motorsports. We were talking back to the.
Yeah.
Like I asked the Formula SAE team, how did you guys grow this team to 130 people? And they can chart it to Netflix.
Yeah.
So Drive to Survive. Drive to
Everyone's
Survive
like,
is
Daniel Ricciardo just
Right,
single-handedly,
yeah,
made
just like
motorsports more accessible.
like general motorsports is cool all
Yeah.
of a sudden, and
Yeah.
so grassroots motorsports, people are hyped to
Spill
do
out.
it, and
Yeah.
and LDRC and what Chuck has created is so open and welcoming to, graduating from maybe say Time Attack or whatever into wheel-to-wheel racing.
Yeah.
And I think that accessibility, kudos to Chuck and his team.
Yeah.
Because I'm so thankful that we get to go out
Yeah.
and do it.
I think that's a good point, right? Like there was that like singularity moment, if you will, with Drive to Survive, but like the groundwork for these gateway communities and accessible series like have been in the works for a few years before that. So now like there's still the excess capacity that can take on all this new interest, and then what you guys are doing with B Squared, what you're doing with Driver's Paddock, what we're doing here with the podcast, are hopefully trying to let people in on the inside baseball of it, but hopefully to kind of demolish inside baseball, right? To make it like there's no gatekeeping. There's like it's all out in the open, right? So people can see what it's like and truly like to get
please
involved,
come out and go wheel to wheel racing, because like every Cars and Coffee that we go to, or any any car related event, everyone out there has that kind of dream, like, hey, I want to go wheel to wheel racing, I want to be a race car driver, right?
Yeah.
And so this is the way to do it very economically,
Yeah.
generally economically. I'm not saying it's economical.
No.
It's not.
No,
it's not economical. So you're burning rubber and tire fuel. Like, but if you want to go from lapping days to like wearing a race suit for real purpose,
Yeah.
this is it. This is
Yeah.
really it in Canada right now, and like we got to grow it more.
Yeah, that's right. So I got one more question about Lucky Dog, and then we'll start to wrap this up. We've been going for a little while, but this has been a lot of fun. One of the things that I remember when we first joined, I guess this was like during the Chump Car days, right?
Right.
Like before Lucky Dog,
Before
right?
Lucky Dog.
And Sal and Wendy, who are the owners of the franchise, then they ran a fantastic event. We felt very welcomed as a new team, but it was kind of interesting because thinking about like representation in grassroots motorsports, like we're like the only team who of East Asia
Visible
minorities.
minority.
Everyone's super welcoming, but it was kind of like these new guys coming through trying to figure this out. And I think we talked about this like very briefly, I think like a couple of years ago as well. And now like it's becoming, there's like younger people, more diverse, but I still think like predominantly like Caucasian or like East Asian.
Yeah.
Like what has been like your take on this and experience?
I think it's so unique, right? Because diversity is such a big thing in society right now, and so you know, who's our favorite Formula One driver? It's Alex Albon. Why is it Alex Albon?
He looks like me.
He looks like me. Right? He looks like me. So diversity is so big, and like our team is Adam's Caucasian. You know, you're Asian, Filipino, Vietnamese, Hung's Vietnamese. Nick is, what is Nick?
Nick's half Filipino.
Nick's half Filipino. Nick, I don't know what Nick is.
Yeah, he's racially ambiguous.
Yeah, he's racially ambiguous. So, but like, you get to the track and
Yeah.
you try not to see it, but like, my wife was at the track like last year or something, and her comment to me was like, hey, not only that, but you have like females on your team helping out. And so she really thought that was different, new, but it's only gonna get more like this. Like that's just gonna grow. And I just like, you want to go out and have fun with your friends. That's what it comes down to, right?
Yeah.
Whatever color you are.
Yeah, we didn't select our team based on DEI.
At all.
We selected our team based on who were
Vibes.
like, yeah.
Yeah.
Just so you got clear.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, I say this fully knowing, like, especially Lucky Dog is a very welcoming, very welcoming.
Yeah,
So welcoming.
Everyone's welcome.
So welcoming.
But like you said, like I think it's just cool to see this new generation and more diverse people, different backgrounds coming in, right?
Yeah, I mean, our goal is to continue to have joy driving, racing each other for the next 5 to 10 years, whatever. But then the joy should also be in seeing a new team come and fight us for, you know, race wins and podiums, and like that should be the goal.
Yeah.
Even just a 5-minute battle on the track with somebody, like that makes my entire weekend. I get to look back on that. I'm like, yeah, that was sick.
Yeah.
That's the one that you keep rewatching, right?
Yeah.
Footage, like, oh,
That's
look at
the
that
joy. That's the joy.
Yeah, that's it. All right, I guess to kind of wrap this up, all right, one of the questions that we always ask our guests is this little segment we call Modest Dream Garage. Okay, so $200,000, you only get to pick 3 cars, and they're the only 3 cars you're allowed to drive, right? On track or on street, whatever. Which cars are you going to pick?
And it's only 3, so this
only
is not my wife's car. Like, my wife has her own thing.
Sure, we can say that. But like it needs to fit your purpose for your family when you're driving, let's say, right?
Yeah, no, this is easy. I think as a car person, I get.
Yeah, let me guess.
You
let
get
me
asked.
guess.
It's too easy. Come on, it's too easy.
Okay.
I think it's already in my garage. So like,
Sorry, oh my God, yeah.
Supra, like sports car, like sports car.
Yeah.
GR Corolla, manual rowing, winter hooning car.
Oh, winter hooning car. That's so specific. Most people don't have one of those.
And then the daily Land Cruiser.
Land Cruiser?
100% Land Cruiser. Land Cruisers, yeah.
We exchanged some messages about this, right? Forerunners come. I mean, okay, the platform. What is it? The TNGAF. Like, it's like you know, like that meme with like Zooey Deschanel and like Katy Perry, and then okay, so like there's that going on, which I love, by the way. It's great. Forerunner and Land Cruiser, because I was thinking like, okay, Land Cruiser looks pretty good, and then I'm like, new Forerunner, like, hey, like, you know, like as much as I like to say that I go out there overlanding, I'm probably gonna drive this more on the street, right?
Yeah.
So like, how are people gonna how are most people gonna choose between those two
This
cars?
is so fresh, like, because we dropped Forerunner to the public like 2 days ago, and the compares are coming out. I'm full runner, so I have a license plate on my. I've had like 5, 4, I don't know. And my license plate is faux runner.
Yeah.
I'm a Forerunner guy. I love Forerunners.
Yeah.
Forerunners, what the tow, like Adam rocks a Forerunner. That's what tows the race car to the track. I tow the U-Haul trailer with a Forerunner.
Yep.
I wanna YOLO a little bit and dabble into Land Cruiser. Mm-hmm. But I mean, that Forerunner
looks good.
I think I'm gonna be like 1 year of the Forerunner plate on the Land Cruiser, and then it's back to Forerunners. Like it's too versatile. And this new one is it's got throwback hues and
I just wonder what like the domestic market in Japan, what they think about like Toyota overseas, like making these like giant cars.
Giant cars,
That
they
would be
love
like
'em.
completely out of place
they
in Japan,
love
though,
'em.
right?
If you can import a Tundra into Japan,
Yeah.
that's a head because like I think it like just straddles the lines of the road and like
Yeah.
they kind of love it. They love American like
Yeah.
big.
Actually, I remember watching one video where someone was saying like the version of the 86 to have is an FRS if you can get it in Japan because they're like, oh, this is foreign, you know, it's so
Scion.
cool.
I'll trade you my Scion badge for a Toyota badge. All of us here are putting
Yeah.
Toyota badges
On the
on our
Scion.
FRSs. The guys over there like, give me your Scion gear.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's pretty funny. But I think that's probably I'm under the 200K mark, I feel.
Because you're only buying Toyotas, man.
Yeah, that's true.
Am I
That's
under?
true.
I don't
I don't know.
feel
Out
like
the
I'm
door,
under.
I feel like it's pretty close.
MSRP I might not be under.
Yeah.
70, 50. No, I'm under. I feel like I'm under.
You get like a nice enclosed trailer or something like that.
Yeah,
There you go.
nice 5x8. Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, that's you in a nutshell. Yeah. It's funny because you already have all those cars.
Well, I don't have the Land Cruiser yet. It's launching
Yeah.
this spring summer, so I will add the tow vehicle this year will be a Land Cruiser.
Gangster.
That's gonna be cool. I
is
think
the
that's
hope,
gonna be
yeah.
a big draw when you pull up. All
Yeah.
the teams will be like, oh.
Maybe not.
Whoa.
I don't know.
No, because they're pulling up in trailers.
Yeah, they got Prevo's rolling.
It's
in.
that's just like a building
It's like
pulling
it's a
up.
building.
Yeah.
You know we're coming with 2 tow vehicles and 2 trailers this year.
Yeah. we
Yes,
have to.
yeah, that's like we're like U-Haul. Like get the 5x8 U-Haul, open aluminum. That's how we roll. We had a Land Cruiser towing and a 4Runner towing, and
Yeah.
that's our. I don't know.
That's the way.
It's
That's
the way. It's the way. I mean,
Yeah.
I think dreams.
I do like an enclosed trailer for like all the miscellaneous.
For
we
sure.
just dump
for
because
sure.
you guys got to put it in like the trunk or the truck bed or something.
We're putting
like
it
that,
in the
right?
U-Haul now. So
Okay.
the
Yeah, the
the
little
5x8 U-Haul is our tents, tables, chairs, batteries, solar panels, all of that
Yeah.
stuff, scooters, like all of that goes in. So we got a system now. So
We measured each of our belongings that go under our tent space, and we're going to put it in CAD and move things around.
nerds.
Things are going to be labeled. If somebody comes in as a volunteer to our
They
team,
know exactly where everything
here's
is.
the map.
Yeah.
This is where this table goes.
Yeah.
Because it fits in
Yeah,
this
we're
exact
not like
spot.
that. We're like,
Yeah.
all right, time to like step carefully over all this stuff.
we're nerds though. Like honestly, like we wear GR gear because we want to be like our heroes who are
Yeah,
at Le Mans, like racing, and like I think couple teams might be like, oh, are you guys like like we have no
Yeah.
sponsorship. We are just nerds.
That's what you want to portray, right? That's what you're communicating to everyone. with that
we're
logo.
just cosplaying,
Yeah.
right? We're at
It's
Lucky
like,
Dog.
it's like,
when-
ask us, please, ask us, please ask us. Ask us. Wait, did you hear? Did I hear you? Yes. Oh, are we sponsored?
No,
we're not.
No, that's like I bought that jacket myself. We're cosplaying. Like
Yeah.
when kids dress up as Batman or whatever and go to what was it?
Comic-Con.
Something.
They're
Yeah.
dressing up to be like their heroes, and we just want to go to endurance racing pretending to be like we're at Le Mans, like
Yeah.
with our hero. Like our heroes are all like decked out, right? So that's the nerd in us, I feel.
Yeah, I feel that. Wow. Okay. Well, this has been fantastic conversation. Any lasting thoughts, comments, questions from the other guys for Vin? Are you more amped to be competing against these guys
I
this
didn't know
year?
it
Are you
was 2
inspired?
weeks away, man. Like I'm so shocked. Like 2 weeks away. Chris hasn't even driven the car.
It's like I haven't
neither
been
no-
drinking tea for 2 weeks.
Exactly, man. I need the tea. Like so many things go through my mind right now, but that's crazy. But I do have a question. Like, what do you think would be next for you after Lucky Dog?
Yeah,
Did you have
that's a
any
good
thoughts?
question.
Like what is
Whoa.
what's the evolution? What
This
text
is a
are
good
you gonna
question.
send to Patrick in at the end of 2024?
cooking, man.
You know, where
I'm
are
in,
we
you know I'm
going?
in.
You know,
Whoa.
and are we gonna come together to sometime? You know,
We
There
might,
should be a
yeah,
chance,
like-
right? Like it could be.
I've thrown out lofty things because we've probably seen that like this is so obtainable. Our joy to pretend to be our race car driver is obtainable. So
Yeah.
what are now the next outlets? And we've thrown out a couple of like lofty things. I
Yeah.
think we were even like overhyped of when timing wise when we could do it, but
Yeah.
we've thrown out Thunderhill, 25 hours of Thunderhill, do a 25-hour race, but I know WRL has like similar or less,
Yeah.
like say 12 hours or 16 hours. I think we're gonna build up to it. That's probably like loftier goals, and we probably need more crew, more organization, more of these CAD drawings and checklists and a bigger U-Haul to get
Yeah.
there. But I think we talk a lot about team, about like philosophy, and like the bottom line is we just want to have joy of racing with our friends
Yeah.
and just do that all the time. How lucky are we to get to do that all the
Yeah.
time, right?
Yeah.
So stay focused on that, and yeah.
Yeah. I do think it's like, I mean, it's a great question to ask for you guys because you've already won the series before, right? And I think that's always like a moment to reflect on like what's next, right? You know, we've also talked about a few times like, hey, do we want to go to the US? Like, and you know, these 24 hours races is just really about finding a track that doesn't have noise bylaws that allow you to do it, right? So like, and then another series like what AER is like another big one as
yeah,
well.
we're looking at that.
No, it's like it's also one of those things where it's like you move on to the next day, maybe you get more serious, more people are involved, and I do wonder sometimes where you kind of start looking back and say like, you know what, like the golden days were when it
Purity
was
days.
really scrappy, right? And so I think there is a little bit of that hesitation around like how fast you want to evolve like your commitment
It's
and what
so
you want to
true.
do.
I'll tell you, like, Ian Willis is like a legendary IMSA engineer. They run the former AIM Autosport, so
Yeah.
they ran the AIM Vassar Sullivan RCF GT3, and so I got to talking to Ian a lot. He's like genuinely solid human being, solid guy, and he, as they were preparing an IMSA car, you know, they dream of Lucky Dog. They dream of LDRC because there's no sponsorship pressure. There's no, you know, the drivers got to get this or that, and it's for the purity of racing, and that's what the pro level guys want to come back to do because it's for pure fun.
Yeah. That's what it is. That's a good note to end this one. All right.
Awesome.
So thanks for joining us. If you made it this far, really appreciate you guys. As always, if you have any questions, in the comments below on the latest YouTube video, and we will try to address them with our guests in the this guy can't get a word in, huh? In the next video, and yeah, we'll catch you on the next one. And tune in for the next one because I think it's going to be a pretty special one because Patrick and I are going to try and shoot on location at Mosport. And we'll try to find a very unique spot to film from as well. We'll just
Both
leave
of
it
our
at
cars in the
that.
background, maybe.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I've been trying to message Chuck for some special access to specific filming locations, but
Yeah.
we'll leave it at that. Catch you on the next one. Thanks.
See you guys.